Chairman of Parliament's Public Account Committee, James Avedzi, is calling on the Office of the Special Prosecutor and Charge to speed up investigations into the alleged sale of contracts by CEO of the Public Procurement Authority, Ejeni. In August last year, a documentary by investigative journalist Manasseh Azariawini revealed the CEO formed the company Talent Discovery Limited in 2017 after his appointment as head of the authority. The company, after winning contracts through restrictive tendering processes, allegedly further sells it to the highest bidder. After the broadcast of the documentary, President Akufo-Addo directed the suspension of the CEO and referred the case to Charge and the Office of the Special Prosecutor for investigations. More than a year on, the outcome of the investigation has yet to become public. When officials of the authority appeared before Parliament's Public Accounts Committee this morning to respond to audit queries in the 2017 Auditor General's report, they were led by acting CEO Frank Mante. James Avedzi told JoyNews after the sitting the delay in completion of the investigation is negatively impacting confidence in the institution.
And a member of parliament is assaulted. Why should a member of parliament be assaulted? What is the crime? What is the offense of the member of parliament that he should be assaulted? He is a people's representative. If you assault him in his constituency, if you also want to, if you get to know the people who assault him, and he also want to retaliate, what will happen? There's going to be this fight here and there. So that it's not proper to assault a member of parliament. In fact, it's not proper to assault anybody at all, because Ghana is a peaceful country. We urge the police to up their game so that the people who assaulted a member should quickly be found out. They should be arrested and has been accused of doing the wrong thing. And that civil servant agreeing to refund the money. And I said, that is not the first time, because we have a number of times recommended for civil servants who have embezzled public funds to refund the money, even with interest. So the CEO was using the provision of the Act. I think I say Section 30 of the Act, where the civil servant, or the former CEO, was accused of doing the wrong thing, and he has accepted. That is what we call negotiated terms or something like that. So that was just pointing it to him that that is not the first time. So you should not say that for the first time. And
that's regular practice. It happens.
It happens,
and it's not out of place.
No, it's not out of place, because it's something that has been negotiated. Probably, I'm not sure that the 15 million that he was asked to pay was what the exact amount which was he took. He took far less than that because the interest was accrued on it. So it's like paying the principal with the accrued interest.
Which for you is enough punishment? It's
enough punishment, yes.
You're asking about the whereabouts of the CEO of the Public Procurement Authority when they came in. Were you satisfied with the response that you got?
Yeah, because he says that he's under investigation. That is why he is, the current one is an acting CEO of the Public Procurement Authority. I think that it was a public information some time back when the CEO was involved in some kind of procurement sale of contracts. Documented by him. So that is why he was asked to step aside for investigation. So the answer provided by the current CEO, current acting CEO, is in order. It confirms what we heard in the public. I asked it purposely because just to confirm that what we've been hearing in the public domain, on the social media, in the news, is actually true. So he has confirmed.
It's been almost a year. If my memory serves me right, this incident was about 7-8 months ago. To the extent that the investigation is still ongoing, he's still on suspension, no conclusive decision has been taken. Is that good enough?
I'm not sure it's good enough. We think within a year or within six months, they should be able to conclude the investigation. But I don't know how the issues involved are. So in a normal case, it should be investigation that should be done within the shortest possible time. But it's over a year now, because if you look at the time that the current acting CEO was asked to take over, he took over in July 2019. We're in September 2020, so it's over a year. So we should be expecting the outcome of that investigation, so that if there is a need for the CEO who was accused of to be set free or prosecuted, we should be hearing that for now.
How does that affect the stability and the management of the institution if some of these investigations are lingering on for such a lengthy period, and even the integrity of the people and the integrity of the organization at the level of the PPA, which is supposed to supervise procurement contracts? And in this case, there was an alleged sale of contract by the PPA. How does
it doesn't give any good image of the organization, because people will still be thinking that this organization, who is supposed to manage the procurement, itself is involved in the sale of contract documents. So if that issue still lingers on without clearing the air, people might not have confidence in the work of that organization. So it will definitely affect the performance of the organization.
And the expectation of the security agencies and the government, the presidency, which say these issues are still being looked into, what will be your expectation of them?
My expectation is that they should speed up with the work. It's a continuous delay in this type of issues. Doesn't give any good image about the institutions involved and government itself and the security agencies. So I'm not sure that it is being done intentionally. But if it is being done intentionally, it doesn't give any good image of the institution itself.
Could it be the case that it's been done intentionally? So the case drags on and
no, that is why I say I'm not sure that is it. But if it is done intentionally, then it's not good. It's better the speed up the work, give out the outcome of the investigation quickly. If there's somebody need to be prosecuted, the person is prosecuted as early as possible, so that Ghanaians will have confidence in the public institutions.
Let's get on the phone and talk to Joseph Opoku Gakpo, who is standing by for us. Hello, Joseph. Hello, Joseph.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Right, Joseph, let's start from the Public Accounts Committee sitting today. Did work stall today at the sitting because of the outstanding case and the fact that Mr. A.J. Nimeje his fate has still not been determined?
Far from that. Okay. In terms of the interrogation of the officials from the Public Procurement Authority, as far as the issues that have been captured in the 2017 Auditor General's report are concerned, that is actually a conversation that went on without any form of hindrance. If my memory serves me right, there were about 3 different queries that had actually been raised by the Auditor General as far as the administration of the PPA in 2017 were concerned. The acting CEO had the specific responses to those queries, which he went on to outline alongside other officials of the authority who were present at the committee.
Which other issues came up today at the committee sitting, Joseph? Yesterday was pretty heated.
Today, apart from the Public Procurement Authority appearing, there was also appearance by officials from the Ghana Cocoa Board and also the Bank of Ghana. Essentially, concerns that came up had to do with monies that had to be moved in connection with taxes and all that had not been dealt with satisfactorily as far as the Auditor General was concerned. But the main issue in dealing with that had to do with the Venture Capital Fund. You know that that's actually an agency that government has set up to provide loans to individuals, that facilitate their businesses and all. The CEO of the Venture Capital Fund disclosed that they had some difficulty with money that had been moved by the previous CEO and also other officials who governed it before 2017. That has actually gone into ghost accounts, and there was some form of malfeasance, which he said that the former CEO had actually agreed to refund about 15 million Ghana cedis after prosecution started at the level of the Auditor General, at the level of the Attorney General. The current CEO indicated that those necessary processes are ongoing to recover the said amount, and he went on to say that there have been a lot of fraudulent deals, including monies that have been moved in the names of people who were virtually unaware of all of those. Those are some of the issues that came up. But the committee couldn't interrogate a lot of it because, again, the CEO explained that some bits of it were in court and the Attorney General was actually dealing with some of those. From tomorrow, the Public Accounts Committee will continue to sit in with expected appearance by a number of officials, including from the Electricity Company of Ghana.
Well, Joseph, let's talk about the demand by the minority. Is it just linked to what the chair of the Public Accounts Committee said, or are there further concerns being raised by other members of the minority in terms of speeding up this prosecution?
That's actually Deputy Minority Leader James Avedzi.
Right.
You recall that when this particular issue broke up sometime last year about the alleged malfeasance at the Public Procurement Authority that had led to the suspension of the CEO, the minority had made a number of demands insisting that they would want to see a situation where the CEO was dealt with according to law and that there is some form of cleanup at the level of the Public Procurement Authority. This is just in furtherance of that, with the Deputy Minority Leader, James Avedzi, making the point that unless those issues that came up are dealt with, public confidence in the institution will not be guaranteed. And he was very much worried that although the PPA was allegedly involved in the sale of contracts, and after the president himself intervened and directed investigations, nothing much has been seen over the last 1 year or so. I'm
wondering how the officials from the PPA who came responded or reacted to this. Now, this is a new person who's taken over, but certainly some baggage there to take over as well.
He was asked at the sitting, in terms of Mr. Frank Mante, who is the acting chief executive, he was asked at the sitting where his boss is, the CEO himself is, and he gave a short explanation that the CEO himself is on interdiction, is on suspension following issues of investigation that had to be done. But he went on to make the point that they had all the necessary responses to the queries that had been raised by the Auditor General, and then him and the other officials responded to the said queries. This was a conversation that lasted for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then they were discharged from the sitting of the Public Accounts Committee.
Finally, Mr. Avedzi is also worried about the attacks that they say are being meted out on members of Parliament, particularly NDC members of Parliament. Was this a question that you directly put to him, or was it something that worries them enough that they raised it up themselves?
So this didn't come up at the sitting of the Public Accounts Committee itself. This was well after the sitting was done, and in interviews with Mr. Avedzi about how the sitting went and other issues relating to the minority in Parliament, then it came up for a conversation, and he made the point that at the level of the minority, this is not the first time that they are seeing any of their members of Parliament being attacked. He referred to the incident in Dumasi during the voter registration exercise when Bawa Brima was allegedly assaulted as well and was unable to show up in Parliament for some time because he had to spend some time recovering in hospital and all. For Mr. Avedzi, this is something that has been perpetuated by those on the other side of the political divide, and he thinks it's about time that they put brakes on that, because for him, it doesn't augur well for the democracy of the country, and that no one should face any form of assault by any individual as a result of election-related activity.
Right. Sitting continues tomorrow, I believe. That's
correct. Other officials will be appearing before the committee, including the Electricity Company of Ghana and a number of other state agencies. This is actually a sitting that's continuing tomorrow till Friday all the way to next week. And again, the interesting bit is they're examining the report of the Auditor General from 2017, the indication being that there is still sitting a backlog of that of 2018, that of 2019, and that of 2020, which has just begun. So it looks like there's a lot of work they have to do even before the House prepares for its final break to make way for the 8th Parliament from January next year.
And hopefully due diligence as well. Joseph, thank you so much for the updates that you've brought us today. Joseph Opoku Gakpo is our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent right there on the ground for us.